In this video, I am going to show how you use the F-111 as a bomber properly. So the main loadouts I'm going to be focusing on are the GBU-15s, the AGM 65Ds, and the GBU-24 paveway 3s. Now, the reason I'm going for these three is they're similar but also different. The AGM 65s are a rocket and intended for smaller targets like light vehicles. The GBU 15 is intended for whatever you want. It can be the biggest tank, it's going to destroy it. And then we've got the GBU 24s. Now, these are laser designated bombs. So I want to showcase how you use your laser, how you use infrared for these ones, and obviously infrared for the rockets. And what I'm also going to do is show how you do like a proper bombing run in the F-111 using CCRP on an actual airfield and killing a segment of the airfield. So a couple of settings or keybinds you need to have which are essential to be able to do this are, if we go to controls, make sure you're on aircraft. First off, go down to weaponry. We would like bomb series set. We would also like, this is handy, switch sight mode in cockpit and switch mission bombing target. This is really helpful and you'll see why in a minute. So you want to have a designated keybind for your cockpit. If you're playing sim, external view is not that necessary. But you need targeting optics view and optical seeker view. Another one which really helps is switch NVD mode, which is your night vision mode. Make sure you have a keybind for that. So that's the brief keybinds. If you've made it to jets, you already know the rest of your keybinds, but they're the ones which you need for bombing runs, guided bombs, guided rockets, and let's get into it. So first off, we're going to drop the napalm. So I've got my bomb series set to all. I'm going to spawn at this airfield and I'm going to attack the airfield what's up here somewhere. Now, this is where a little trick comes in handy. When you don't know where the airfield is, you don't actually have to fly all the way up to find it and then set yourself up for a bombing run. That's not necessary. So the trick I use is, when we was in the settings on weaponry and we looked at switch mission bombing target, we can use our Aardvark's computer to show us where these are. So if you look at the bottom of the screen and I press that keybind, it's set to target 0. And 0 doesn't mean a target is not set. Target 0 is the first target. It's just the way they're numbered. So if we pay attention where we're facing off map. So I'm going to rotate round. So I'll select my bombs. So now you can see the green line and I've got CCRP activated. So I'm just going to slowly rotate around until we find what we're looking for. So now we've gone further this way. We know there's supposed to be an airfield over here somewhere. So we will go 1, 2, 3. So that's 4 points we've passed. We've passed 0, 1, 2, and 3, which is runway, fueling, barracks, and all that of an airfield. So there's 4 segments. So the next one, now this is like the second airfield. So if we just sweep back, see if we can see anything, which we can't. So then we'll go 1, 2, 3, and then one more. This is the third airfield. So we'll just we're wanting to find the one what's closest to where we're looking. And we'll try again. So like that. Just come back on ourselves. Oh, there we go. There it is. See that green line there? There we go. Now what we're looking for is that green line from the next time we press this button to jump but stay relatively forwards right in front of us. So I'll press it again. That's 2. That's 3. That's 4. I'm not sure where that's gone. Oh, there we go. So we're on number 9. If I just line up with that. There we go. 10, 11, 12. So number 9's the first one. So the way this works is, if I get to number 9, there it is. That is always the runway. The first one it selects. So you know you're on an airfield when there's 4 lines, one after the other, right next to each other. So the first one is always the runway. Don't go for that. Now I'll explain why in a second. So now I've gone to the next one. This is one of the segments. So the reason we don't go for the runway is if you're slightly off on the CCRP, you'll always miss the runway. It's just one of those things you'll always miss because it's so narrow, and especially when you're about 7,000 meters up, it's very easy to miss. But for one of the other areas, like the barracks, the hangars, that's a much larger area for you to hit. Yes, it's not as long like the runway, but it's much wider, so it's a bigger overall area for your reticle to be sat as you drop the bomb. So the goal now is to line ourselves up roughly with where the airfield is, which is there. Now I aim between 7,000 and 8,000 meters in altitude. That's the goal. So I'll just angle up slightly. Now, when I've got a full bomb load, I can sweep my wings back fully. So you must make sure you do not exceed the speed limit, which is about 1,000 kilometers an hour. Otherwise, you'll rip your wings off because they're still fully extended. So just bear that in mind. Don't go too quick. When you start leveling out, back your throttle off to about 95%, just so you don't push past that critical point. So now we've just gone over 8,000 meters in altitude. We can start to make sure we're nice and lined up, because we need to be in perfect level flight. If we're not in level flight, the bombs will get flung off to the side and they will always miss. You have to be level. And you only need very micro adjustments to get that line back on center. So now I'm going to set this stability system to automatic leveling. So now we can see our level point. So we're flying nice and straight. And as you can see, the runway must be somewhere around here, so we're really close now. Now, as you can see, from if you look at the round reticle in the heads-up display thing, as you can see from 12 o'clock all the way around to 9 o'clock, there's like a thick bar going all the way around. That starts to shrink. We need to make sure we are holding in our bomb series button. So see how that's now shrinking? We now hold in our bomb series release button. And then when that gets all the way to the end, it will automatically release all 16 bombs. So we'll just keep nice and steady. As you can see, I'm wandering off from that green line. There's no point trying to correct it because you're going to end up angling your plane and flinging them off to the side. So as you can see, we've dropped all 16 incendiary or napalm. So what we're going to do now is start to turn around. We'll head back to base and those will make contact. So as we can see, there's the airfield, what we've just bombed. Now the napalm is very, very slow at falling. So once that eventually hits, we'll see the damage we've done. And usually a fully laden aardvark with napalm will destroy a segment of the airfield instantly. Oh, there you go, base destroyed. So if I go here, you can now see it's blacked out. So we've destroyed that segment of the airfield. Now if I go to the points, that's netted us 1,293 points, and it's given us 862 damage to bases, destruction of bases 431. That's where our points have come from, and as you can see, I've not had to do anything drastic. I can now just return to my airfield, land, rearm, repeat. Very easy. Now let's get ourselves a nice smooth landing to complete that sortie. And there we go. Now we just rearm and repeat. If that's what you want to do and bomb airfields, that's probably the best method and one of the highest paying methods in gamer score. That's like Xbox achievements, but you know what I mean. Game score, whatever you get. So the GBU-15s are a glide bomb. So what I'm going to do is set off from this airfield and I'm going to attack this convoy. So instead we're going to set off from here and attack this one because there's a guy being, well, can't call him for playing the game, but still being a dick. So let's place our point there. So while there's a target point here, and obviously enemies around there, we're going to go to this convoy just for the sake of the video, so we don't keep getting killed. So we've got our bombs selected. We're using CCRP to show us where to fly. So when you're going for these types of convoys, they are constantly moving, so you do just need to keep updating your waypoints, but we can see the road, so we know where they're going to be, so we can just put it slightly ahead, and by the time we get there, they'll probably be, let's move it further actually, by the time they get there, we'll probably be there as well. So now our CCRP is starting to drop. What we're going to do is jump into the seeker view, make sure we're lined up, which we are. Very far down, so we're at half past. Right, let's focus on shooting these guys. So that's one, that's two, that's three, that's four. Right, that's four bombs out. Let's see if all four of them make contact. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 kills. Nice and easy. Now we are going to change to this loadout, which is the GBU-24s and the AGM 65Ds. So this one, the GBU-24, is a very large bomb, but it's laser guided. So you can shoot two at once if you're aiming for something like a base. I wouldn't suggest using them on airfields because it's classed as a smart bomb. Airfields can shoot them down, so it's a waste. But if you go for the round bases and you have four of these, you can dump all four onto that one base. all you have to do is make sure you have set laser designator active like a keybind, otherwise they won't work. And then these ones are very similar to the GBU-15s, it's just the rockets. So they get there a little bit quicker, but they're a lot less powerful. So as for the setting, what I was telling you about, you want to go to weaponry and then toggle laser designator, and I'll show you what that looks like in a second. So let's just make sure we have the right one selected, which we do. We will respawn. So if we zoom in to our friends over here, like that. So we have our waypoint. And now we have got the GBU 24s. And then this is what it looks like. So if we just go back, see that green circle on my dash just there? That is showing us exactly where the convoy is. So now, using the laser designator, we can actually see it. Now, I don't think this is supposed to be visible on this plane because we don't have an active heads-up display. But for some reason, it's there. So now, all we have to do is take off, head to the convoy over here. And again, all we have to do is keep updating this. So what we'll do is set it a bit in front because they're obviously going to follow that road. And we will use the GBU 24s first. And again, we're going to use the CCRP method just to judge when to release these bombs. Again, it's not to use CCRP to automatically release them, it's just to judge when we need to release them for the best possible chance at them hitting the target. So as you can see, there's the green dot, and this is only active, or this only shows up when you've got a laser designated bomb, which is the GBU-24. So that's your optical seeker view. This is on the AGM 65Ds, but for the laser guided bombs, you need the targeting pod, and that's where that keybind comes in. You need to access your targeting pod's view, which is that view. And as you can see where it says laser on my crosshair, that means the laser is active and the bombs know where to look. But if we turn that off and we release the bombs won't know where to go. They won't actively search for the target. We always need to press our keybind for designate laser target, and then you'll always know it's there when you're looking through the targeting pod and you can see the word laser. Because we're going for a convoy and we've got two GBU-24s, we can't just launch two GBU-24s, because if we do two at the same time, both bombs will follow the same laser designator, which, because it's such a big bomb and we're going for tanks, it's overkill. So we're going to release one GBU-24, and if we're lucky enough that this guy on the opposite team leaves us alone, we'll try and do a go around to get another kill with the second one, and then we'll look at the AGM 65s. And as you can see, we are now going down, or the CCRP ring is going down, so we are now going to access this, and right, so we've released one, and all we have to do is just keep looking at this guy. Oh dear, we didn't mean to do that so violently. Hopefully that's not messed us up. We've got a countdown, so 9 seconds, 8 seconds, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and impact should be. There we go. So that's a target destroyed. Now we're going to use the AGM 65s. Now, for the AGM 65s, if you use them correctly, they can net you a lot of kills. So in this loadout, I only have the AGMs, nothing else. So I can't access the CCRP because you need to have bombs in order to access that, and we have rockets. But as long as you set that designated point and you just watch your map and make sure you fly towards it, when you look at your seeker view, your seeker will still always look at that target. Now we've got 6 missiles, and what we want to check is there 6 targets? There might not be 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 targets there, but there's more over here. So what we will do is we'll kill these to try and get all 6 kills. So the view of the rockets is slightly different. As you can see, the rectangular box at the bottom, your crosshair has to always be within that box. It can move the entire area of the broken up rectangle that is outside, but in order to fire the missile, your crosshair has to be within that smaller rectangle box. And to make sure you always have it that way, all you have to do is put your air brake on, point your nose at the enemy, and then enter the seeker view, and you'll always have your crosshair within that box. Now, with these being rockets, it does make things quite a bit easier, as you can shoot them from further away, just because they're rocket propelled. They're just quite a bit easier. You don't have to focus on your distance and your speed as much. And you don't need CCRP to judge when to drop them. So as you can see, we are approaching the targets. So what we'll do, we will extend our air brake. We will bring our throttle right down just to slow us nicely. We'll angle down a bit. And then we will, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that 6? That's 6 kills with the AGM 65s. Ground multi-strike times 6. So as you just seen, that's how you use the AGM 65s, the GBU 15s, and the GBU 24s. Each are used slightly differently, but they are relatively similar, and you can even have them all on the same loadout if you so wish. So I hope this sort of tutorial or tips helps, because this is something I did not know how to do. And once I figured it out, I just thought everyone else should have a chance at knowing. So I hope you found it very helpful, and I'll catch you on the next one.